Hi, everyone. Can you guys see us? If you can see us, we just want to make sure that you can see us and you can hear us. So you will see over on the side, there's a little chat box. If you want to click on chat and just tell us if you can see us and hear us. If you want to type in, I'll type in too. Can you see us and hear us? Let us know so that
I'll fix my tie. There we go.
And we'll wait a second here and make sure that everyone can see us and hear us. Yes, perfect. Thank you, Doug. Can see us and hear us. Okay. Okay, we're just going to get started in a sec. Okay, so you can see us, you can hear us, then we're good. So if you're not familiar with this format on how we're doing this webinar, you will see there's, you'll have access over, I believe it's on your, when you're looking on the screen on your left-hand side, there's a chat box, there's questions, and you can go ahead and type in the chat box. If you have questions, to try to type them into the question box, and then we will have time for questions at the end. So we're just a couple of seconds before we're about to start, before the time. So we'll let everyone kind of get in. I see people kind of popping in. Again, if you're online, if you can just confirm that you can actually see us and that you can hear us, that would be great, because I want to make sure you can see and hear us, both the same things. And then we'll give everyone a couple of seconds here to get in, and then we will start. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so I think we are good. I see a bunch of people here on. Hey, I see Serena on the phone too. How are you? Can you see us and hear us? Just making sure. And then we have a couple of questions already popping in here. This is great. All right, so let us start. And we just firstly, we just want to welcome you for all coming here to the webinar. We're so glad that you're joining us today. And now for those of you, we see have a lot of new people on the line. We are the Private Label University, for those of you who are new to us. And we have been finding products and private labeling products for some of the largest chain stores in the world for over 35 years, a long time, I know. So like many of you, we are also product entrepreneurs. And we sell on sites like Amazon and eBay, just like a lot of you do as well. We created the Private Label University for you because we understand that starting a private label business, it's not easy. There's a ton that could go wrong, and there's a ton that you need to know, ton of information. So that's why we created the Private Label University, so that we can give you all that information, because there's a lot of money to be made in this industry, and if you don't have that information, then you can also lose a lot of money as well. But here's the thing. You need to make sure that you align yourself with the right people in this business, people who really know their stuff. So we thank you all for being here and trusting our 35 years of experience and knowledge, because we understand the frustrations of the business. And one common question that we hear a lot is, how do I ship my products from overseas to Amazon or to my warehouse, and what will it cost? So today we want to share with you an amazing tool that we found that's going to help you do just that, and to do that for free, to find all that information out for free. So this tool is going to make shipping, which really is not anything that's very sexy or exciting, we're going to make it fun, and it's going to make your life so much easier, so you have simple access to how to find the right shipping method to use, to how to find great shipping costs, and all within this one tool and for free.
And as Karen said, most important is aligning yourself with professionals. And Karen and I always make it a point of seeking out new tools that are out there, new companies that are optimizing to make companies in the physical product industry just more successful and more streamlined. And I think the perfect example is when you have your company operating where you don't have to be there because you have set in place working with companies that take care of the shipping, that take care of the customs, that take care of the warehousing, the drop shipping. Then you don't have to be there and you're making money as you sleep. We love to say that people making money as you sleep. And again, a lot of our clients have efficiently set up their operations that they're just making money all day long because they're working with companies that make it so efficient. And as Karen said, shipping is one concept that comes up in everyone's company, whether you're a retailer or you're an online seller, you're in the physical product business, you need to get your products shipped to you and shipped out. And what's very important is finding that great company. And so we came across this wonderful company called Freightos. And Freightos has thousands of customers. They've only been just over 4 years they've been in business, but they built up such a great listing of customers that are so happy with the efficiency. And again, when we saw what they do, we're like, wow, why didn't we know about this company? You know, I wish they were around 25 years ago or 30 years ago, because it would have made our lives a lot easier. And again, we could have passed that on to many, many thousands of our customers. So we're gonna let Sam Crown is here today. We're honored that he could be here and spend some time with people today on our podcast so they can see what his company is about, what they can do, and how he's gonna save you not only so much money, but so much time and headaches and frustration. And, you know, as Amazon has their frustration-free packaging, now you have your frustration-free shipping. And Freightos is a company that's bringing it to the world, and we're very excited. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Sam Crown from Freightos, and he's going to talk to you about how he can really help your company.
So give me a sec, and we're going to bring him on. I just have to switch over here. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for the introduction. A quick, brief introduction about myself. I'm from London originally, so excuse my accent. I've worked for DHL in the past and recently worked for Merck Pharmaceuticals. I'm one of the few people in the world who get excited about freight. So I'm really delighted to be here today. To share my enthusiasm and to share some knowledge. So there's going to be two parts of this presentation. First, we're going to look at some slides about freight, as sexy as that sounds. And then in about half an hour, we'll have a quick demo of Freightos and Freightos tools. And we will, let's get moving. So the first, let me just share my screen with you. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this is, we'll call this Freight 101, back to basics. I hope everyone can see my screen. If you can't, just give a shout. Let's jump straight in, you know. Let's talk about freight and get excited about it. So, most of you are probably importing goods.
Sam, sorry, we don't see the screen.
Oh, 1 second. That's never a good sign.
And even if freight is not sexy, your accent is.
Okay, can you all see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. So a quick introduction we've just done. Let's talk about freight, have a demo, and we'll have some time at the end for some lovely questions. So most of you are probably importing your goods. You're getting them manufactured in China or in Taiwan or in Vietnam, and your factory says to you, okay, we can bring them to you. The first question you say is, well, how am I going to do that? Should I via ocean or via air? So 90% of the world's goods, everything that's in your room right now, has been imported via ocean. Okay, you see huge container ships traveling across the world 24/7. They take most of the world's freight. Okay, so there's a reason global exports are via ocean. It's cheap. There's not a lot of restriction on the goods. However, the drawback is it takes time. Okay, a typical shipment from China to the West Coast, so let's say shipping from Shanghai into Los Angeles, will take about 15 days. If you want to ship it to New York or to somewhere on the East Coast, it will take around 30 days. So compare that to a flight. I assume most of you have flown around. If you fly from China into the States, it can be 12, 14 hours. Into New York, maybe 16 hours. So compared to a 30-day wait on your goods, that would be a reason to choose air freight. However, time is money. And as you all know, air freight is much more expensive per kilogram than putting your goods on the boat. So you need to work out what's best for you, how urgent the goods are, how expensive they are, how big, of course, they are, and what regulations, if you're importing maybe hazardous goods, they may be more suitable for an air shipment or for an ocean shipment. So you need to work out what's best for you, and that's something that Freightos can help with. But as a rule of thumb, if you're importing something that's cheap and that you don't need urgently, you would import it via ocean. However, if you're importing something that's very, very expensive and you need it there the next day, you're out of stock in your Amazon warehouse, then that's a time to plump for air freight. Okay, let's move quickly on to some documentations. Now, documentations get me excited, but most of you will probably roll your eyes and say, you know, I don't know what I mean, I don't know what this is, I don't know what that is. Let's look at 3 key documents that every shipment will need. Okay, the first is your commercial invoice. So this is the passport. Consider it for your shipment. It's going to be provided by the factory, and it needs to have your company name, the quantity of your goods, the description of them, and of course, the most important is the value in dollars of what goods you are bringing in. That's the invoice, and the factory should be able to provide that. The second one is your packing list, and this really is for the freight forwarder. It describes how the volume and the weight, also the number of boxes in your shipment, okay? And this is preferable for the freight forwarder to have, so they know what to expect. They know how many boxes are in the shipments, so make sure that they don't maybe lose a box somewhere along the way. The last thing which is critical as well, is the power of attorney. Now this will talk slightly more about customs, okay? But this will need to be signed by you for your customs broker to act on your behalf, okay? So we'll talk on the next slide slightly more about customs, but this power of attorney, it's a legal document, and it must be signed before the goods leave China or before they leave Taiwan. It's critical for them to for the freight forwarder and for the customs team to have all the documentation in advance. Let's touch a little bit more on customs. Okay, we all throw around customs and customs duties and customs taxes. Okay, and it's scary, and some of customs are completely out of your hands. It's a government. It's regulated by the government. There's an agency set up called the Customs and Border Protection Agency, and they decide how much the percentage of the value of your goods is going to be paid to the government. So let's say you're bringing in skipping ropes. There's a code for skipping ropes that says if you're bringing in skipping ropes, you need to pay 3% of the value of your goods. So if you're bringing in $1,000 of skipping ropes, you will need to pay $30 to the government. If you take a different example, take pens and pencils. They may have a completely different value, different percentage. They may be at 5%. So if you're importing $1,000 of plain black biro pens, you may need to pay 5%, so that's $50 to customs. There is no way around customs, no legal way around paying the customs duties. The customs are there. They are levied on products that are imported to really protect a country, so to protect the USA manufacturers, and make sure that there's some competition between something you can produce in America and something you can produce somewhere else for cheaper, but the government will tax it when it comes in. So as mentioned before in the previous slide, it is critical that you sign an agreement, a power of attorney with your customs broker. And that really will allow them and enable the customs broker to act on your behalf, okay? And what they will do is they will submit your invoice to the Customs Border and Protection Agency to classify your goods. Okay, that's a legal process, and you have to be a registered customs broker, a licensed customs broker with a license number, and that's what they will do. They will act on your behalf. Now, a little tip that's not on the slide is a customs broker, a good customs broker, is worth their weight in gold. Okay, if you have a customs broker who you enjoy working with, who are professional and they know what they're doing, very, very, very important to keep them and to build a good working relationship, because they will understand the types of goods you're bringing in, they will understand the factories that you're bringing from, and they will see your products coming in again and again and enable them to classify them correctly. If you're in the business of chopping and changing customs brokers, there could be, let's take back to the skipping rope example, pink plain children's skipping ropes may have a percentage of 3%. However, you see CrossFit and all these TRX and gym skipping ropes could have a different classification. They could have a different percentage. So it's very important that you build a relationship with your customs broker so they know exactly what you are importing, and you don't just tell them I'm importing skipping ropes. One customs broker will charge you 3%, one customs broker may charge you 5%. Then all of a sudden you have the Customs and Border Protection Agency knocking on your door and saying, hey, hold up, what exactly are you importing? No one wants that. So it's very important to find a customs broker, and Freightos and other companies can help you find a very good customs broker to work with for a long-term relationship. Talking about customs, okay, and we're talking about freight here, I would just briefly want to touch on a customs bond. So this may be new to a lot of you, and it's something that's not necessarily always quoted by companies when they quote for freight, but it is 100% necessary for anybody importing into America to have a customs bond. There is no way around it. Everybody needs to have a customs bond, okay? It may not be quoted, you may not know about it, but there will be a charge there somewhere along the line for a customs bond. So there are two different types of bonds, and it depends really how much you ship. So the first one is a single entry or a one-time bond. And generally this is charged at a percentage of the value of your goods. So like the customs taxes and duties are charged at the value of your goods, also here the bond is charged at a percentage value of your goods. And this is a one-time bond that's valid for your one specific shipment. The second type of bond that you can see on screen, which is a little bit more of a document, is an annual bond or a continuous bond. This is generally charged at a flat fee of $500 or so, and this is valid for 12 months, and it can be used for any single shipment that you bring into the States, whether you bring it to East Coast, whether you bring it to West Coast, whether you use one freight forwarder or a different freight forwarder, or one customs broker or a different customs broker. It is completely transferable, and it's registered to your own individual company, okay? As a rule of thumb, if you're going to be importing more than 5 times a year, 5 to 10 times a year, it makes much more sense to buy financial sense and headache sense to buy a customs bond up front. However, if you're starting to get used to it and you're importing once to see how the goods go, and then maybe you'll do another import in a few months' time to see how the sales go, then I would definitely stick to a one-time single entry bond. So let's talk about, we've talked about customs, let's talk briefly about its little cousin, insurance. So we at Freightos, we like to say that we're great at getting ship done. A little freight humor never hurt anybody. But really, we hate to say it, but sometimes, as you see in the picture, containers full of ships or planes may break up and your goods may be damaged. Therefore, it's very, very worthwhile for you to consider covering your losses with cargo insurance. Now, generally, the rating of cargo insurance is also depending on the value of your goods. So like the customs duties, like the customs bond, the same with insurance. So if you're importing $1,000 of goods, you would expect to pay $50 for insurance, depending on the specific types of goods that you have. Okay, it's we strongly advise shippers to purchase insurance because it covers you if something does go wrong. You will want to see things, you will want to see the paperwork, of course, but if you buy insurance, like you have health insurance, like you have car insurance, like you have home insurance, this is really, really critical for small shippers who, you know, if you lose a shipment, it's going to be worth, you spent time, you put your time and money and effort on the line, and if your goods get lost, there may not be any way for you to get your money back if you don't have freight insurance. So we at Freightos allow you, and we'll see shortly in the demo, how to choose insurance and how to choose the right level of protection for you and your goods. So now we've talked about freight. Let's move on to what happens in the States. Now, many of you may be shipping to Amazon. Okay, Amazon, you know, the largest retailer. A lot of first-time shippers and small companies will ship with Amazon. And Amazon have a great service. It's called FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon, and it's a great program which they take a lot of the headache out of distributing your goods through the States. So they have a very good, they have lots of warehouses all over the States, and they will take your order in, they will process it, and they will deliver it to the final customer. All you need to do is get your goods to the Amazon warehouse. And what that means, you need to source it from China, you need to bring it in, and you need to ship it into Amazon. Now, Amazon, the way that they work, and they work very efficiently, but there are a lot of rules that Amazon has in terms of processing your goods. So first, for example, you'll need to make sure that your cartons have proper labels on. So there will be independent Amazon labels that they'll send to you that you need to make sure are attached to the box of cargo that goes into the warehouse. So some people may take this Amazon label and they may send it to their factory in China and say, factory in China, please can you label my goods? The problem that we see there is then the factory in China can see who you're shipping to, how much the goods are costs, what the barcode number is, and theoretically, potentially, they could try and also sell on Amazon directly and undercut you. So what Freightos offers, and other freight forwarders with its partners, is to bring the goods into the States without any external identification. And when they arrive in the port, the freight forwarder themselves will take the Amazon label and they will stick it on the carton. That way, your factory in China or Taiwan doesn't know the final end of the goods. The second note with Amazon is they work a 24/7 warehouse. So they may say to you, you can import to us and you must get the goods to us, but at 3 o'clock on a Saturday morning, that's your time slot. So, you know, like we said before, making money when you're asleep. What Freightos and freight forwarders and our partners we can arrange is for our freight forwarders and our truckers to hit that specific time slot, whether it be 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday or a Saturday, or it could be 12 o'clock at night on a Friday. 24/7, we ensure your goods can get to Amazon when they need. And of course, you need your goods to be in Amazon to be able to sell them. So that's really critical. And the last one, anybody who kind of ships with Amazon, and I apologize for people who aren't shipping with Amazon, but of course you have an Amazon identification number. So this is critical to provide at the very beginning of your shipment, so we know to track your goods all the way through until they hit the Amazon shelves. The final tip here, we touch on Amazon. You know, they have lots of different warehouses across the country. They may say to you, and they are within their right to say to you, your goods are selling very well on the East Coast. They've also now started selling very well on the West Coast. Please send your next shipment. We want 1 box of goods to our New York warehouse, and we would like a second box of goods to our LA warehouse. Then you're stuck. Do you bring your goods from China to New York and then you truck them to LA? Do you bring your goods to LA and then you truck them to New York? So there's a whole different bunch of permutations, and it's very important to think and to sometimes it can be worth consolidating your goods, but it's very important to plan and to think exactly what do Amazon want, what warehouses do they want me to ship to, and how can I do that at the cheapest cost and the most efficient speed. So we've mentioned a little bit about your factory in China, your factory in Taiwan, but I asked the question, has your factory ever said to you, don't worry, we'll ship your goods to America. We'll get your goods to the port of LA, to the port of Chicago, to the port of New York. Seems like a great option, right? They will say to you, pay a little bit extra for your goods and we'll take care of the freight. However, all is not what it seems. The factory in China, actually, they only book your freight on a plane or on a boat. They only arrange them to arrive at the port. The port itself. That means they're not covering any freight bills of the port in America. They're not paying for any handling charges. They're not paying for your customs brokerages. They're not paying for your customs bond. They're not paying for your taxes. They're not paying for trucking. They're not paying for anything else. What we really advise customers to do is when customers say to us, yes, my factory will get it into America and all we have to do is arrange a trucking, we say, stop. That's not how you should work. This is the tip. Tell your factory, thank you for the offer, but I want a better price on my goods, not including the freight charges. Now, the factory in China may be working closely with the freight company. They may be giving kickbacks to the freight companies to ensure volume that comes out of China. Our best tip to everybody is to tell your factory that you will arrange the freight. Educate yourself. Take a smarter and cheaper option by working directly with Freightos or with a freight forwarder in America to get a better price on your product and have better visibility and better accountability for the freight. Now, as we finish up the presentation, our last and final tip really is to shop around, to compare the market. If you were to book a plane ticket, you would go onto one of these Kayak or Expedia or lastminute.com. If you were booking a hotel, again, you would shop around. You'd go into hotels.com or booking.com to be able to find a good price for your hotel or for your plane ticket. That is what we do. That is what Freightos do. We take the effort and we take the pain out of comparing the market. We make it very, very easy to compare different freight forwarders, different quotes, different transit times, and different prices. We have a team here, and I manage a team here that has a lot of experience in freight. We will hold your hand and we will help you get your goods into China at an agreed price and at a convenient and a safe way of bringing them in. You can find all competitive rates. You can find air quotes, you can find ocean quotes, you can even choose next day or 2-day delivery via express, getting your goods in at a critical time. Of course, you can compare the forwarders, as we'll see, and we even have a review section from real shippers like yourself who have used our platform to give a little bit of insight into how each freight forwarder works. So we have freight forwarders who work from LA, from New York. We have some freight forwarders actually who are based in China, and they can get a next day pickup for your goods if that's what's critical to you. Okay, we are working with trucking companies in America to provide full zip to zip coverage wherever you are. We'll be able to deliver your goods to your door. So that's smoother shipping through Freightos. This is the best tip that we can probably give you. So let's finish up with the presentation and let's have a quick demo into shipping some freight through Freightos. Now, give me 1 second and I shall open up my screen. And we'll send this link through shortly. Our website is here. You can see it at the very top of the screen, ship.freightos.com. And this is our home screen. Once you sign up, and I've already signed in, I'm logged in as myself. I can see myself in the corner. It will present you with a screen, and it will say to you, what are you shipping? What commodity? How big? And it will tell you where from and where to. So let's take a typical shipment we're going to be shipping, let's say 5 boxes. And I'm looking here at a typical invoice, but you can all look at your own invoices. You can go away and compare the price of how much it would cost you. I'm going to, my boxes here I have here are 80 centimeters. You can change it to inches. That's my London born and bred coming through. So my 80 centimeters by 80 centimeters by 80 centimeters. And each of my boxes, they weigh 200 kilograms, so I know 300 pounds. That's my load. That's how much I'm actually going to be bringing in, and that's what the information that I have from my factory. Now, where is my factory? Okay, I've chosen China. That's my default. That's where most of the world's goods are produced. My actual factory is in Shanghai. Okay, Specifically, it doesn't exactly matter where in Shanghai. We'll get to that shortly. But for the moment, I'm shipping out of Shanghai. Okay, I'm shipping from a warehouse in Shanghai, and I'm going to be bringing it into America, into the US. So I can see here that I've got a little drop down. I'm actually going to take it into my home. Okay, and my home, as I don't know that many zip codes, but the one I always stuck with is 90210 Beverly Hills, California. So I've got my load. I'm coming from Shanghai into my home in Beverly Hills. I do want customs brokerage. That was already ticked. And actually, I do need insurance. Okay, that's important for me. And my goods are valued at $1,000. That's it. Let's compare and see what freight companies and how much this is going to cost me to import into the States. So give it a second while we compare the market. And now we can see, wait for your screen to catch up. We're shipping here, as we call, 5 boxes. And you can see at the top of the screen, we're shipping 5 boxes. And totally, those boxes are 2.5 cubic meters. Okay? They weigh 1,000 kilograms, because remember, that was 5 boxes times by 200. And I have here a few different freight forwarders giving me different options. Now, as I look at the page here, there's 2 things that pop up. First one, best value, $1,400, all in to bring my goods from Shanghai to Beverly Hills. However, this will take between 18 to 20 days. As we see, there's a little boat here that says it's going via ocean. That may be great, and we can go ahead and book it and click on the book button, and we'll see that in a second. However, I'm out of stock. It's run up to Christmas. I need my goods as fast as possible. We see here there's another freight forwarder who can provide us with a faster service, 4 to 5 days, via plane flying from Shanghai into LAX. However, as we said before, time is money for freight. Okay, and this freight quote will be significantly more than our ocean quote. So we had the ocean quote for $1,400, and we have an air quote for $5,000. But if you need your goods and you have customers on the phone who want their goods and they want them now, sometimes, unfortunately, you need to make tough choices. So let's quickly move forward and say, okay, great. All right, well, what do I do next? I'm happy with this quote. I've got exactly what I need. Let's move ahead and book it. So what does it need from me? Well, it needs to know my company name. Okay, and we're going to be shipping under private university. My full name, Sam Brown. Of course, my phone number. We just put a little test in here. And probably the most important detail that is here is, when's your shipment going to be ready? So at Freightos, we can depending what time of day you book, we can arrange for next day pickup in China or in the States. However, we strongly advise shippers like yourself not to wait till the last minute to book your freight. So we give you a calendar. You can book your freight for any time in the future. So let's say today's the 7th of September. I'm going to ship sometime in the middle of the month, 20th of September. The rate is still valid. It's still going to be $1,000. It asks me what products I'm shipping. So today I'm going to be shipping socks. We see it is including insurance and it is including customs brokerage. Now let's continue on our platform to payment. So like any other platform in the world, well, like most other platforms, booking platforms, we give you the option of paying right here, right now. And what this will do is this will send an email to my team to get them working immediately on your shipment. Okay, that you can either do through credit card. The other option is paying via wire or ACH. So some of you may want to transfer money the next day, okay, which is perfectly fine. For this moment, let's imagine we're going to be wire transferring the money, okay, and you have here the total of $1,433. Once I order, I will now be getting, okay, firstly, Sam is going to get an email saying thank you for ordering. These are our bank details. But the question some of you have been waiting for, I hope, and we'll kind of touch on this before we open up to questions and answers, is, okay, great, you just told me Shanghai. and you've just told me Beverly Hills. You haven't given me any other information about my shipment, which is why we bring you on to the third and final page of the shipping process with Freightos, which is an information grab from you for us. We need to know where your goods are going to be picked up from. Who are they going to be picked up from? We need to know their address, their exact address in China. So Shanghai is not good enough. We need to know if they are at 15 Wutong Road. We need their email address and their phone number so our team in China can call them up immediately, depending when, of course, China are open, to arrange your goods to be booked on your given mode. At the same time, we need to know whereabouts in the States do you want them delivered. Do you want them delivered to your address? Do you want them delivered to a warehouse? Do you want them delivered to Amazon? So this is the place that you'll give us your those details. And then, as we remember from before, from our slideshow, we said, what's the most important? What's the passport of your shipment? Well, that is your commercial invoice. So we require and we would like, ideally, when you're booking, to have your commercial invoice already ready. But if you don't, not to worry, you can save, and then you can come back and upload your commercial invoice when you have it. But it's important to note, freight does not move without the passport. It will be impossible to book anything without your commercial invoice. So as a final tip from us, when you're speaking with your factories in China, once your goods are ready, request the commercial invoice as soon as possible so you can get arranging your freight. The last thing we'll talk about is here. We see the power of attorney, POA. So we'll send it to you to be signed in, and then you can upload it and send it back. That, my friends, is it. Let me open up for questions and answers. Let me unshare my screen.
Wow, so I'm standing up right now. I'm standing up. If I was in front of an audience, I think everyone would be standing ovation.
Unbelievable.
That was fantastic.
Information. Unbelievable information. I mean,
we've done thousands of interviews, and I have to say, for the quality of information that you just supplied, it's worth gold.
And again, this is something that we really, this information that you had given is something we really, really, really emphasize and talk about in detail when we do our masterminding with our groups and what we teach in our training as well, because this is information that you can't get necessarily on the internet, or you can't get from people who are teaching Amazon programs. They don't have this information because they don't have those years of experience in the industry. And, you know, people who are just shipping products into the country that have maybe done it just a few times, they don't have this information and the details and the knowledge and the experience. And that's so important, because if you don't have all that information, you're going to end up paying fees and fees and fees for things, or being unaware of what can come up as extra fees, as you mentioned as well. So great information. Thank you. Tons of value that you gave today. So thank you. Thank you. We have a ton of questions for you, so I hope you have time.
Fire away, please.
There you go. Okay, so just before we jump into, we got a lot of questions that came in through email over the last couple of days, as well as actually while you were presenting. But I want to open it up first to the people that are live with us online. If you have any questions, go over to the question box. You'll see it on your left-hand side. It says Q&A, and you can type in your questions there, and we'll get your questions answered. I know it was a lot of information, but it's information that you need to know. So if any questions come up, then please type them in and we will get to them. And in the meanwhile, we do have a bunch of questions here. So let's jump into some questions.
So yeah, people have also been emailing questions. So a couple of them just came up from, I guess, the screens I saw. What is ACH payment? For those who don't know, a lot of people are familiar with wire transfers, but you also list ACH payment.
Yes, it's a different way of paying for goods. If you speak to your bank, it's generally a slower way, so it takes around 3 days, but the fees are lower. for both parties. So ACH can be it's a special code you can request from your bank to transfer money in the States from bank account to bank account. It takes slightly longer, but it's if you're transferring a lot of money, then it's worth the fees.
All right.
Great.
And the other question I have, someone just typed in, does it populate all and save the information? So I guess when they're entering all their information on the screens, obviously it saves it. So if they're working with the same supplier most of the time, they can bring up that same information and not have to re-enter it each time. So it saves the documents, the POA, any other documentation that's aligned with that factory, and then they just enter the details of the shipment.
Yes, exactly. If you're shipping from the same factory with the same freight forwarder, then it's pretty simple. We just need to know the new dimensions, because your dimensions may change. You may want to ship 3 boxes one day and then 12 boxes the next day. So you will always need to run the search afresh. Also remember that rates are always changing. So the price that you'll pay in December, the beginning of December for an air freight shipment will be astronomical compared to, that's when everyone wants to ship. Compared to trying to ship in January, you know, it's going to be very, very cheap. So we advise people to go back and run the search again, but the information will be saved, and you'll just be able to save a quote and then to rebook it at an appropriate date.
Wonderful.
Great.
So actually, before you jump into the next question, that was great. Another thing is, just so you know, I have posted on the site, you can see it there, I believe on your right-hand side near the top. It says free access to get quotes. You can sign up for free. This is a free account that you can get and get all this information. There's no charge. You can get direct access. Just click on that button and it'll take you right there. You'll get direct access. So just so you know, I will also be sending out an email to everyone over the next couple of hours. So you'll be able to access that link as well there so that you can sign in, and that's kind of your go-to. So you have free access to get all this information, the best pricing, etc. So just so you know, where you see that button up there, it'll take you right there as well.
Great. So Chad from Scotland actually sent in a great question. Will they notify if there's any delays, if there's any exams that will happen with my shipment?
Yes. So thank you from Scotland, close to London, closer to London than somewhere in America. Yes, that's we work with a whole bunch of qualified and rated freight forwarders who are committed to a transit time. So should they go over, or should they think they're going over the transit time because maybe there are delays in customs, there may be delays due to bad weather in coming into a port, as in at the moment, I'm not sure how many boats are coming into Florida. There's a bit of a weather issue going down there. So, but they will keep you fully advised of where your goods are and when they will arrive. As in, freight is not an exact science. So your goods may come into customs and there may be a little check. They may want to do an X-ray exam. But that's our freight forwarders, our customs broker will keep you abreast. There's nothing they can do about it because delays are inevitable with freight, with weather patterns, and with customs and with build-up. They are inevitable. However, our partners provide an excellent service to let you know where your goods are at any given time, so that you can plan your inventory and you understand that if there may be a delay or there may not be a delay, but either way, our freight forwarders will definitely keep you informed of where your goods are and when they will arrive to you, because that's the most important thing. At the end of the day, you don't really care if they're on the boat, they're in customs, they're stuck. You just want to know, when are they going to arrive at my warehouse? So yes, our freight forwarders will let you know and they'll keep you abreast of the situation.
Excellent, great. We have Bella from Acton, Ontario. Oh,
that's our hometown around there.
Her question is, what if I only have 2 shipments a year? Is it still valuable for me to use it? So I'm going to quickly answer that. You're going to answer the heavy duty part, but I'm going to say, you know, if you're in the physical product business and you're devoted to what you're doing, you know, again, aligning yourself with great companies like Freightos to do this, it'll make your life a lot easier. But so Sam, I guess the question is, right now she's only moving a couple shipments a year. Is it worth it to use Freightos?
Yes, 100% it's worth it. We have shippers who are doing one a year. We have shippers who are doing one shipment a month. Shipments doing one a week. But definitely, it's worth comparing the market to understand how much you are paying for your freight, how much you're paying for your customs duties, and how much you're paying for your insurance. As in, 20 years ago, if you wanted to book a plane ticket, you had to go through a travel agent, and they may give you 2 or 3 options that may not work for your schedule. But the idea of not comparing the markets, the idea of not using the knowledge and the tools that are out there, the free tools that are out there, especially to get you a better deal of your shipments. I'm sure the 2 times a year that you do ship, it's a headache. Hopefully it's not, but it could well be a headache. And that's what Freightos is here to do. Is we're here to help you every step of the way. You compare the market, you find a rate and a price and a transit time that works for you, and then we have an expert team here of freight professionals that are here to champion you and to hold your hand through the freight service.
Great. Another question I have here is from Jean-Luc in Montreal, Canada.
A lot of Canadians.
Bonjour. A lot of Canadians on. So his question is, well, he's got a couple different questions here. I have accounts with FedEx and DHL now. If I sign on with your company and my costs are less, I don't understand do you discount? Let me read that. I guess he's asking, do you match pricing? It seems like he has his own account set up now. If he sees the pricing that you have, can he? He's not very specific here, Jean-Luc. If you're listening,
my response would be that you're booking with UPS and with DHL. They may just be express, so they may just be small packages and small parcels, and maybe not your 5, 10, 100 boxes that a lot of other shippers need to bring into the States. So if you've got an account set up with DHL, how do you know how much they're charging you? And then again, use the tools, compare the market, work out what the rates are and what you should be paying. We have great DHL rates and UPS rates on our site. We leverage, because we have more than just one shipper who's shipping with DHL. We have hundreds of shippers who are shipping with DHL. So generally, depending on the route, we can get a better price than an individual person can get. So specifically on a route, if you're shipping from Azerbaijan into Canada, you know what? Maybe we won't have 100 people looking to ship on through Azerbaijan into Canada. And if you're shipping a lot, maybe yes, you will be getting a great rate, but you don't know that. You don't know how to compare it. However, if you're shipping like the rest of us from the Far East into the States or into Canada, it's definitely worth looking at the site, comparing rates, understanding what other rates are out there to give you the information. As in, information here really is power, and it's good here to save you money and to save you time.
And that's great, and a great point to mention too. It's about comparing. You know, we teach all the time, compare, do your research, do your research. I mean, how many times do you guys go to Expedia and you're looking for a hotel because you're going somewhere? How many times do you go there and you'll look for a hotel, you'll look at the different options, you get to put in those filters of, I'm going to this city, I want to be in this area, and you can filter through to see what is going to be the best hotel for you at the best price that you're wanting to pay, the best service that you're looking for. So very similar is what you're offering really is a service like Expedia, where you can go in and compare and get exactly what you're looking for. There's nothing like that out there, especially in the product industry. I mean, with shipping, there's nothing like that. And that is really, really important. So think about it that way. You know, when you're going out to go on a vacation, you know, most people go to those sites to look to see what is available, to do the research before you actually book. And this way, you're able to see the numbers, you're able to see what's available so that you can then prepare properly.
Right, and I think, again, as Karen mentioned, you know, time, and Sam also mentioned, time is money. You know, if you start getting quotes and you're waiting for a freight company to get back to you. It may be a couple days, and of course, with the time difference in Asia, you're waiting a few more days. And again, the urgency of getting your shipments in so you can keep your products up to date, whether it be with Amazon or other online platforms, you have to make sure you have those products to sell. And with Freightos, again, the idea is it simplifies everything. It really streamlines it. So you see what the costs are. You know, penny saved, pound foolish, I always say. If you're going to waste all that time, days, trying to save a few extra dollars, here they give you the best rates. Again, they have the power and the capacity to get the best rates for you, and you get to take advantage of it.
They've done the research for you. Seriously.
So,
especially if you're new to the game, right? And you don't know, you have someone working on your side who's done the work for you, and that's key.
Yeah, so it really simplifies your business and makes it efficient. So it's a great program. We have another question here from Sarah in Los Angeles. I have a POA signed right now with a shipper. Can I still have a POA with Freightos?
Yes, so the POA, the power of attorney, is with your customs broker, okay? And when that's only for that specific customs broker to work on your goods. So if you were to book a shipment with Freightos, we could definitely advise you to book with one of our freight forwarders. And as part of the package, a lot of our freight forwarders are also customs brokers. So yes, they would require you to sign a new POA, a new power of attorney, to let them do the customs brokerage. So you don't have to worry about it. So yeah, you can have as many many power of attorneys as you like, but remember, it's a contract between you and a specific licensed customs broker who is registered to work on your goods to import them legally into America. So you can have a few of them, that's not a problem. If you come to Freightos, the likelihood is that we will ask you to sign a new one to work with a new freight forwarder and a new customs broker, because that's a package that our freight forwarders are providing you. You know, they've got agents in China who are there to pick up your goods. They've got people at ports to put them on boats. They've got the capacity in the States to unload them. And at the same time, they've also got customs brokers under one house. So your goods you always know where your goods are at one time. Even if they are in customs, you are fully aware because you have one point of contact who's managing your entire shipment until your door. So yes,
Excellent.
you can.
Excellent. And I think, Sarah, it's important, just as you mentioned, you know, a lot of freight forwarders or customs brokers will try to convince you and saying, oh, no, you can only have one. As Sam mentioned, you can have more than one power of attorney signed. So don't let them tell you otherwise. You know, what Sam just mentioned, you can have many. And with Freightos, again, once you're signed on and you have the power of attorney, you'll get all the quotes. So you're not just you know, stuck with one company giving you one quote. So great question and great answer, Sam.
So again, if you have any questions, click on the Q&A box. You can put your questions in there. I think we have a few more questions. Are you still good on time? Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make a comment. I loved where Sam talked about, you know, freight is not free.
Oh, yes, our favorite topic.
We always work with clients, you know, especially a lot of retailers and a lot of importers who say, oh, no, China's quoting me free freight. And as Sam mentioned, freight is not free. It's built into the price someplace. Asking for your cost without the freight is very crucial to saving you money, especially when Freightos can save you money on your shipping costs. So,
and you can check out our YouTube video. If you go over to the Private Label University YouTube channel, we did a whole commentary on the free shipping, that it does not exist. So you can check that out there. We have a ton of free content over there too. So if you want to hop over after to our YouTube channel, Private Label University, you'll get a ton of free training over there as well.
Okay, let me go through. Some of these are similar. A lot of people asking. So there's a lot of questions about ocean shipping here. I'll just kind of summarize a few of them. Bill in Toronto, Canada. Hello, Bill in Toronto. Ocean shipments. We saw on your video that you it said 18 to 20 days. I assume that's, so I'm going to build it and make it specific here, but is that LCL as well as full container? So a full container load, I would assume, would be faster than a less container load. So if you're moving loose pallets or loose shipments by ocean, the time frame would be longer. And Bill is answering back, saying yes. To simplify the question, I move both containers as well as loose shipments. Do those quotes come up on Freightos?
Yes, as an answer. We searched, remember we did a search of 5 boxes. There was just next to where we put 5 boxes in, there was an opportunity to search for a full container load. So let me just break that down. We have an LCL, a less than container load, which is if you're shipping a pallet or some boxes or just loose cargo, that's considered an LCL shipment. And what the freight forwarder will do is it will get 10 people who are similar to you, who are also shipping 10, 15, 20 boxes, and it will pack all those 10 different people's shipments onto one container to put them on the boat. Okay, they're not just going to put boxes on the boat randomly. They're going to pack everybody. They're going to wait, and on every Wednesday or every Tuesday or Monday and Thursday, they'll pack everybody similar to you on an LCL shipment into the States. Compare that to an FCL, a full container load, which is where you own the entire container yourself. You own the entire space. So you can either have a 20-foot container, which takes around 10 or 11 pallets of goods, so around 20 cubic meters, or you have a 40-foot container, which is double the volume. And there are some others, but we don't have to get into them now. So those are your 2 modes. You have your LCL if you're shipping boxes, and you're a smaller shipper shipping into Amazon maybe, or into your store. And then you maybe have if you're a little bit more established, you have shipping an FCL, a full container load, into the States, and that's your full container, and you can kind of do with that what you want, and your factory can pack as many goods into that one container. You'll pay for the container, whereas for the LCL you're paying for the space. Okay, so those are 2 differences. So if you're telling me I've got 1,000 boxes I want to ship, we may say to you, actually, you know what, don't pay for the space of 1,000 boxes. It's better, it makes it more efficient for you to actually just reserve one entire container and book it yourself. Now, pulling it back into Bill's question, which is on transit times, okay, as we said, the LCL is also going on a boat. The FCL is going on boat as well. So there's not a massive difference between an LCL shipment and an FCL shipment, because they're both going on the same boat at the same time, and boats go generally at the same speed. So if again we are importing from China, and we're going to be bringing them into let's say the West Coast, so we're going to bring them to LA, that's a transit time of 15 days just for the boat itself. It doesn't matter if it's an LCL on the boat or an FCL on the boat, it's 15 days, it's stuck. Where Bill does have a point is that if you own the container yourself, as soon as you get that day 15 and it lands in LAX, you can get customs brokerages and you can get a truck to deliver it to your door within 3 to 5 days. So that takes the 15 and adds maybe to 18 or 20. If you are part of that consolidated shipment, you're part of the LCL, when it gets that day 15 and it lands in LA, then instead of putting it straight on the truck and straight to your house, unfortunately, or fortunately, because you're paying for the spaces, they need to separate. They've consolidated all your shipments together to make it worthwhile and put it onto a container. But then when it gets to the port of LA, they need to unload the container and separate your shipment from everybody else's shipment that was on the container. So that, yes, that may take 2 or 3 days extra because you're shipping LCL as opposed to shipping FCL. Now, there's one more point to talk about, which is I need my goods into New York, but I can't afford to wait for the boat to travel from all the way from China through the Panama Canal, through Central America, and up the East Coast into New York, okay, which is around 30 days generally. Okay, I can't afford to wait 30 days for my goods to be put on a boat. What some other options there are is that we can import the goods into LA, which again, we said is 15 days, rain or shine, 15 days into LA. And then when it gets to LA, instead of boating it through the Panama Canal and up and around the East Coast, we can actually put it on a train across the country, coast to coast, which takes around 7 or 8 days from LA to New York. And that brings your goods into New York in around 23 days. So that's 15 and 7 or 8 gets into York for around 23 days, as opposed to waiting to put it on a boat that takes you kind of through 30 more days through the East Coast. So there can be savings and there can be time savings depending on if you're shipping an LCL or you're shipping an FCL. Generally, the takeaway here is that they're both going on a boat. They're both going to take a similar amount of time. There may be a slight additional because of the unpacking of the container, because you've got 10 different people on the container, but it generally in the shipments, you're talking 2 or 3 days. No one's going to commit to giving you a certain date by the goods are going to come in, because things in freight are never certain. But with an LCL, you know, there's always those 2 or 3 days of unconsolidation. They call it, the name has escaped me, unpacking the container. Unstuffing the container. That's the technical word, is unstuffing. They stuff the container with 10 different people like you, and then they unstuff it when it gets into the port. So there can be a few extra days, but generally it's not a massive issue.
Excellent answer. I was going to say unstuffing or even devanning. Sometimes they use for devanning the thing. So I guess just to mention to Bill, maybe Bill was under the assumption that it's only Bill's boat that's coming over. So Bill, just to tell you, you don't get your own boat delivering your container. As Sam mentioned, it's going on one giant shipping line with many, many containers.
And it's amazing because honestly, that's one thing we pride ourselves on, is being total transparent and giving you exactly what those steps are and what it visually looks like. So thank you, Sam, for doing that. I mean, that is great information that people don't get, they don't see. They think it's just, you know, oh, okay, I'm going to place my order and it's going to arrive. It's going to show up somehow. And, you know, and because a lot of people look at, you know, the industry, and especially this part, the importing part, the shipping part, it's scary. And you've just made it so not scary. It's a process. And if you align yourself with the right people and with the right information, then you're not going to have issues. And that's really key. So thank you so much. I think that was it for questions.
Yes. And you can always, again, send us your emails. We'll try to get as many questions answered as possible. Yeah.
So again, comment if you're watching this live or if you're watching this in the replay. Comment below. Let us know what you thought of the webinar today. If you have any questions for Sam, then we can get those to him. You can comment below, and like I said, we have posted. You'll see that, and I'll put it in a link below as well, a direct link to go right to the site so you can sign up, get your account ready. You get free access, so use it. It's there for you. It's a tool that makes shipping so flawless. It's really, really incredible. So we're going to go live again here for a second, and then so both of us are up here. Let me just figure out how to do that. So give me 1 second. So here we are. We're both here again. Do you see us?
Fantastic, Sam. We really, really appreciate your time today. Extremely valuable information. So helpful for everyone who is attending today and for people who will be logging on after as well. But an excellent presentation. We really,
and just
really
the information. Thank you so much. You're very knowledgeable, and you know, we're so proud that you're part of our team and being able to, you know, help our audience, because that's what it's about, you know. And that's one thing we always tell our audience too. We don't recommend anything that is not going to work. You know, we've been in the industry for 3 decades. So, you know, we want to make sure that we're giving you good information and tools that can assist you in your business. And knowing that, you know, you're part of that too, Sam, is wonderful. And, you know, being able for people to be able to trust in that is a big deal.
It's important. Yeah, it's important.
It's really important. So again, you know, we're Private Label University. We have a ton of information to share with you. Like I said, on YouTube, we have a ton of free information. You can subscribe to our channel there. If you're just getting started, go over to our website at privatelabeluniversity.com. We have a free 5-day boot camp that you can sign up for, and for 5 days, you're going to learn how to private label products and what the process is. And so you can kind of get an idea. It's a good way of starting, and it's a good way to see whether or not this business is even what you want to even get into. And if you're already doing it, you're going to gain a lot of information that way too. So that's a great way to do that. We also have a private Facebook group called Private Label University for Amazon and eBay sellers, and you can join that too. It's a private group, and we just kind of give information. We let you know about webinars that we're doing like this. It's a great place, even if you want to access Sam and you have some questions or there are questions come up, we can get them on and help you with that. And in the meantime, click on the link below or on the side to sign up for this free tool. It is amazing. Honestly, save you a ton of time. And like Neil said, time is money.
Help your business, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So Sam, thank you so much. So great, so great. I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of comments coming in, and we will speak soon. If you have any questions, you guys all know how to reach us, and we look forward to helping you grow your business.
Thank you again.
Take care.